Chapter 1: Crash Landing. Eric looked back at where he had just run from. The forest was blacker than the blackest night. Normally in this place, light from the nearby planet resonated around the landscape, providing relief to thirsty eyes. The thick vegetation would shine like black chrome, giving the ability for any wanderer to navigate using sight alone, without the need for arms to be stretched out in front like an insect's antennas and feelers. But not tonight. A moderate sprinkling of clouds was enough to shut out all light, with only a few brief interlude moments of planet light cracking through. What made it more difficult for Eric to distinguish between objects was the color of the vegetation itself. It wasn't filled with the beautiful carnival of colors like on Earth, with shades of yellow and red, partnered with a brown base and draped in green. All flora here is jet black. Eric's view was that of nothing. His eyes were completely useless, straining for any clue as to the depth and perception of the space in front of him. Eric felt as though he had no eyes. The feeling quickly turned into a genuine question in his mind as he rubbed his eyes in reassurance. Thankfully, by the time he had reopened his eyes, some light was forcing its way through the trees. This provided Eric with some structure to his vision of the forest and the shallow slope he had just erratically run up. Between the fencing of vertical strips of light reflecting from the trees, Groves and Adrian were noisily clambering up the shallow slope. Another bomb landed about 1 mile away. This fairly distant explosion lit up the forest in the same way that a flash of lightning does. It was then closely followed by a chasing deep rumble. "Thanks for waiting," Groves sarcastically said. What you talking about?" "I was waiting," Eric quickly replied in a high-pitched tone. "Only for this last bit," Groves said. "That counts as fucking waiting." Adrian interjected, "Hey, what are we doing now?" Adrian looked up at the rest of the hill and said, "We head for high ground." "Who put you in charge?" Eric unnecessarily said. Groves, who was standing just behind Adrian, responded, "Listen, mate, you need to calm down. Our lives are in real danger here and we need to sort out what to do. I say we head back to where we landed, towards the bombing." Even though it was so dark that you could barely see where anyone was looking, everyone stared at Groves. This was so typical of Groves and the way his mind worked. One moment of wisdom, quickly followed by a moment of madness which in some way would sort of make sense. Still a bit out of breath, as he was much less fit than the others, Adrian said, "No, I'm right. We head for high ground. That way we'll be able to see where we are and—" Adrian took another gulp of air. "We'd be more likely to spot some sort of civilization." Eric said, "What? You actually think there's going to be civilization here? That's your overall plan, is it? How is that even a good idea? You don't even know—" Another bright flash momentarily made Eric pause. To judge the distance of the bomb, he waited for the rumble before he started talking again. It was about the same as the one before. "You don't even know that if there was civilization here, that they wouldn't just kill us straight away." Adrian paused, and with a slight anger in his voice at Eric's obstructive attitude, but not enough anger for Eric to take as even mildly offensive, said, "Well, it's better than the alternatives. Get blown to bits, or caught by Isaacs, or eaten by some weird alien thing." Eric didn't say anything. Adrian was right, and Eric didn't feel disgruntled enough to debate the situation.